Welcome to the Calsoft podcast series. This is your host Mark Rodrigues. With me today I have Anmol Chaudhary on the show. Hey Anmol, it's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Anmol's going to be discussing with us today the business case for being VMware ready. She's worked a lot on VAI certification, so it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So a quick brief about Anmol before we get into the topic. She is a senior QA engineer here with us at Calsoft, and she's working simultaneously in the storage and the virtualization technologies. Her past work has involved SAN, NAS, iSCSI protocols, flash-based array testing, LVM, NFS, Samba, etc. So right now she's involved with a very niche team of yours that is working on VAI certifications. So Anmol, what is VAI and why is it important?
Mark, before moving forward, I would like to say that in the previous podcast, that is storage hardware certification for vSphere, they have covered this question in depth. But still, I'm going to give a brief introduction about the same before moving further.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
VI stands for vStorage API for Array Integration, which is a set of APIs that offload specific storage operations to compliant storage hardware, which results in less CPU, memory, and storage fabric bandwidth consumption.
Okay.
Functions such as cloning and snapshots can be performed more efficiently by the storage device than by the host. When VMware came into prominence in version 3.0, it tried to do everything on its own, the ESX hypervisor.
Yeah.
So this was back when server virtualization was at its initial stage and resource requirements were less demanding.
I know. Yeah.
Let's take an example to give a basic idea about VI and its benefits. For example, zeroing the virtual disk would mean sending 0 commands to the actual physical disk on the shared storage.
Yeah.
And this would go back and forth between the host and the storage box. And this would go back and forth between the storage and the host and sending wasteful and unnecessary zeros over the network. This was very inefficient, wasteful, and degrades the performance tremendously, especially at the hypervisor layer. To be precise, compute and memory. So VMware began to realize that if the hypervisor is to grow or scale, it needs to leave the I/O operations to the expert or to the storage devices which is best at performing some particular operations, and the experts here being the respective storage array itself.
So they obviously came up with a new version, right? What about that?
Yes, exactly, you're right. So in version 4.1, VI was introduced as an API set, which allow more hypervisor compute power to remain available for running virtual machines. This means greater VM to host ratio and large workloads on a single VM.
Correct.
This also means we can have faster vMotion, storage vMotions, cloning, VA deployment and more. Basically, the goal of VI is to help storage vendors provide hardware assistance to speed up VMware I/O operations that are more efficiently accomplished in the storage hardware.
Okay, thanks Anmol for that. So then, what are the prerequisites of VI? How do we implement it?
Okay, so VI requires ESXi 4.1 or later,
Okay.
but ESXi 4.1 does not support hardware acceleration with NAS storage devices.
Okay.
Support for NAS storage devices was introduced in ESXi 5.x.
Okay.
Second prerequisite is storage box should support VI storage based hardware acceleration, that is should be VI supported.
Okay.
So next question which you asked is how to implement it.
Right.
So there are several components required in the VM kernel to make VI work correctly, and amongst them is pluggable storage architecture device framework, which is a collection of VM kernel APIs that allow third-party hardware vendor to insert code directly into ESX storage I/O path. This enables VMware to introduce new value add into the PSA stack.
Correct.
So it decouples from the vSphere release cycle. And main motivation of pluggable storage architecture is to support VI. After implementing VI to the storage box or after enabling it, next thing is to how determine whether VI is active or not.
So how do you ensure that then?
There are two types to ensure this. One
Oh.
is through ESX CLI based, that is by passing a specific command, we can see whether the VI primitives are enabled or not, or if it's not active, we can set it to 1. And the other is by GUI, that is by logging into vSphere client or into vCenter, and in the software section of the configuration tab, after click on advanced setting, we can see certain VI primitives, and on the basis of our choice, we can set it to 1.
Okay, and the other one you said there were two, right?
Yeah, two. One is CLI and one is GUI based.
Okay. Okay, so now you've spoken about SAN and NAS, obviously. So what are the primitives for each?
About SAN, VI primary purpose is to offload certain I/O tasks to the storage array and freeing resources on the ESXi host to the other task. So there are three main features for storage area network. First is hardware accelerated zeroing, which eliminates repetitive and redundant host-based write commands with optimized internal array commands, and it uses write same SCSI command internally within the storage box. Suppose if we do this without VI, if we use this hardware accelerated zero without API and with API, what are the differences? So without API, many identical small blocks of zeros move from host to array to perform many VMware IO operation. But with VI, one giant block of zero move from host to array and repeatedly written within the storage box.
Okay.
So if we use this VI, we can create virtual machines more quickly.
Okay.
And the second primitive is hardware accelerated copy, that is copy operation from one LUN to another LUN or copy particular set of blocks in the same LUN. This can be achieved with a single command, that is xcopy SCSI command. Without API, a read operation moves the data from array to host, and for write operation from host to array.
Okay.
And this repeatedly happens between the host and the array. But if we have to do this with API, by using only single command SCSI extended copy, data is moving within the storage box, thus eliminating read and write operation between the host and the array. And we have several benefits, like with this we can have faster storage vMotion, virtual machine creation from template, huge reduction in ESX and network load. And the last primitive for SAN is hardware accelerated locking. It is similar to block level locking for SCSI LUN. Without API, it reserves the complete LUN so that it could obtain a lock, and it required several SCSI commands. And LUN level locks also affects adjacent hosts as well. But with API, lock occurs at a block level with one efficient SCSI command,
Okay.
and block level locks have no effect on adjacent hosts. So with this we can have more VMs with bigger cluster and faster VM snapshotting.
Okay, that's very interesting. So there's 2-3 different ways we can do this.
Yes.
Okay, and what about NAS then?
Some new additions are there in vSphere v.5, which is support for NAS hardware acceleration or NAS storage devices. First primitive is full file clone that enables the storage box to make full copies of data or the VMDK files within the NAS array without using the ESX resources to read and write the data. But if we have to do the same thing without VI NAS full file clone,
Yeah.
the ESX host copies data and it will have to read the data from the NAS volume and write back the data to the NAS volume to
Okay.
do a cloning or copy.
Okay.
This process consumes ESXi memory, network bandwidth and CPU, and it
Okay.
leads to decreasing resource availability for the virtual machines.
Absolutely, yeah.
But if we do the same thing with VI NAS full file clone enable, this process offloads the loading to the NAS host and leaves the ESXi resources for other tasks.
Okay.
So ESXi CPU, memory and network bandwidth remains available for the virtual machines. Actual advantages are like faster vCenter cloning, storage vMotion, deploy VMs from template, desktop virtualization
Okay.
and many more.
Okay.
Second is native snapshot support that allows creation of virtual machine snapshot which offloaded to storage array. And third primitive is extended statistics that enables vSphere to query space utilization details of virtual disk on NFS data store. This includes the size of a virtual disk and the real space consumption of the virtual disk. This extended statistics are used by VMware during some specific operations like space reserve and clone. So our next primitive is reserve space. vSphere supported only thin provision virtual disk on the NFS data store. But by using reserve space primitive, we can also create lazy zeroed or thick provision, or which is also known as zero thick provision, which is also possible in NFS data store by offloading the file creation onto the NAS.
So then how does one understand if it's a VAI enabled box? Or actually, wasn't this question tackled by Sagar in
Yeah.
our last podcast?
Yes, I was about to say the same thing. It was covered in the previous podcast, which is on hardware certification for vSphere. And for the detailed answer to this particular question, we should refer to that. One should refer to that podcast.
Okay.
So now answering your question. To determine if your storage array supports VI or if it is VI certified or not, see the hardware compatibility list or consult your storage vendor. And there are some cases where we require explicit activation of the VI certification.
Okay. So what happens if I have a VAI enabled on the host but some of my disk arrays do not support it? Is that an issue?
Yeah, it's a very good question. If some of the disk arrays does not support VI and still VI is enabled, when storage device does not support or provide only partial support for the host operations, the host reverts to its native methods to perform the unsupported operations.
Okay, that makes sense. Alright, so now let's take a step backwards and maybe you can help us understand what are the benefits or the use cases of where VAI could be used.
As we know, for business purposes, storage right now is one of the most expensive single infrastructure investments made by any organization.
Absolutely.
And ensuring that this investment is utilized to its fullest potential is generally of significant interest to an organization.
Yeah.
And at the same time, after investing so much for the storage hardware or storage devices, a lot of storage processing power goes unused.
Absolutely, yeah.
So to help companies maximize their storage investment and to allow them to offload some storage related processing tasks, VMware come with the release of ESX 4.1 and added a feature called VI, which brings to organization the potential for significant business benefit through better space utilization and much faster operation. For example, full copy primitive can be 5 to 10 times faster with VI than without VI.
That's very interesting. Okay, makes sense. So what are the benefits of using the VAI plugin?
Storage array that supports VMware VI primitives or VI certified provides significant advantages in terms of performance, manageability and efficiency. VMware's certification program ensures that customers can reap these benefits when they are using a VMware certified storage.
Okay, makes sense. So basically all this means that this helps towards being VMware ready ultimately.
Yes, that's what it is.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Anmol. So that ends our discussion for today. Anmol, it was great having you on the show and getting your views on this topic.
Thank you, Mark.
For any feedback that you have about our podcast series or about this podcast, you can write to us at marketing@calsoftinc.com. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.